guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today is a requested video from another YouTuber about how to hook a looper pedal into a mixing board. Now there are a lot of different looper pedals out there, and where there's a will there's a way, okay? So it depends on what your end result is and how you want to do things. If you want to record your stuff into the looper pedal direct off of a mixing board, you can actually do that, but you're going to need a 1/4-inch output jack. Okay, so just a guitar cable works, and what you'd want to do would be to go off your monitor output jack. It's actually the best one to use because it has a +4 dB gain over your record out jacks on mixers. Now, some mixers will have a higher output level, even on the RCA outs, than others, but you're going to need to go 1/4-inch jack out for the monitor to the input of your pedal. Okay, so where you would normally plug your guitar into your pedal, in order to go direct into the pedal that way. Okay, now that's on most pedals out there. There are pedals that have the exceptional extra cool features, like my Nux Loop Core pedal has, where it has an auxiliary input jack on it that's also stereo. So to use that, what you would do would go from your monitor outs left and right to a 1/4-inch stereo plug, which I have one of those things sitting here, and that's this cable here. Okay, so it's got two 1/4-inch mono plugs to a stereo 1/4 inch, and you would plug into the auxiliary port on your loop pedal, if your loop pedal has one. Now, because I have the Nux Loop Core pedal, it does have one, but not all loop pedals have them. In fact, very few that I've seen actually have that feature in them. And the Nux Loop Core also has a little rhythm machine built into it too that you can use, which is a lot of fun. There's a boatload of rhythms, and so you can manipulate them in several different timings, etc. Now, another cable system you can use if you do have a higher output record out through your RCA channels on your mixer, which depending on your mixer, depends on where they're located. Mine are located here for RCA. Okay, you can actually use an RCA to 1/8 inch stereo plug this way and go into the back of your pedal. And then this way, everything you do through your mixer is going to go into that pedal and be recorded. All right, and you would do the same thing if you were just going off the one monitor jack and into the pedal for its main input. Same thing. Okay, you would get everything that you've got plugged into your mixer going right into that pedal. Where there becomes the problem is your pedal's recording time. A lot of the looper pedals out there only have X amount of time. You might get 30-second looper pedals, which are extremely overpriced and a rip-off, or you could get a looper pedal that has, 3 to 5 minutes, which again can be a little bit of a rip-off depending on how long your song is, because you want to be able to get your entire song in there. Now, the other thing is, one way or another, no matter which pedal you have, you're going to want to make sure your mix is balanced first, which means if you're going in with just, say, guitar and vocals, no big deal. You can have external speakers hooked up to your mixing board. Be it depends on your mixer, if it's an amplified mixer or a preamp mixer. My mixer is a preamp mixer, so I have to have amplified speakers on it, or an amp and then speakers, right? An amped mixer has its own amplifier in it, so you just put the speakers on, so it's less crap to carry around. But I like the preamp style mixers, and I can use my own amplified speakers, which I'm using Yorkville YSM8 speakers in my studio here. But regardless of the fact, you want to make sure that you have a pedal that has enough recording time to do stuff. But you're also going to have to balance that mix out properly before you even record it. So you're going to want to practice runs with headphones from the mixing board to get your levels correct. Okay, so you need your headphones on, listen to what's going on, make sure your vocals are slightly higher than your other instruments because you want to be heard, right? It's the whole idea. But if you're not even singing and you're just playing other instruments, then that's fine too. Either way, you got to balance out those instruments. So pre-balance everything first before you go and jam them into the looper pedal. Now, what I like personally about the Nux Loop Core pedal, and there are a few other pedals like it, but this one in particular, because I have the experience on it, is the Nux Loop Core pedal has up to 6 hours of recording time. Okay, so I can just play for 6 hours straight and have just one run. I can also have unlimited overdubbing, which means I can cut my main line down. So I cut my first track of, 3 minutes worth of a song, 4 minutes worth of a song, or 2 minutes worth of a song, whatever. And then once I'm done that, I have the option to save that file and then just go to the next line and do phrasing. Or if I want to do everything all in one shot, boom, and it's all done on one line, one track basically, then that's where the loop function comes in. Okay, so I cut my first track down and then I let it play again, and then I hit the overdub, I do my second layer, stop that, do my next one, and so on. Or I can just do everything all at once and not have to worry about overdubbing at all, and everything just gets layered according to the mix on the mixer. This is why it's important to set your levels on your mixer with all your instruments, vocals, and so on, so that everything is pre-mixed and goes direct into the pedal. Now that can go in through the input jack area of the pedal if you don't have an auxiliary port, but if you do have an auxiliary port on your pedal, I would recommend going through the auxiliary port to record everything in, because you also can record it in full stereo, which is kind of nice too. And then you take your pedal off and hook it up to the USB on your computer, away you go. Now this is with a pedal that has that feature. Looper pedals that do not have a USB out in order to take those files off and put them to a computer, well, you're going to have a problem. In which means you might as well just eliminate the looper pedal altogether and hook your mixer directly into your computer in one form or another. Now, just so we do like a dual video here, so saves a little bit of video files for people. If you want to hook a mixing board into a computer, there's a couple ways to do it. One, USB output mixing board. So that means you got a USB port on the back of your mixer, plugs into the USB port on your computer, and then you fire up a program like GarageBand or Adobe Audition or Cubase, whatever recording software you have, okay, bottom line. And then you can go from your mixer into your computer through USB. If you have a mixer that does not have USB, then what you would do is you would take your monitor output jacks of your mixing board and you would go both channels into a USB audio interface. Now the one that I would recommend, of course, is one that I've rented for a couple of months and I'm going to end up buying, is the UR22 Mark II by Steinberg. It is a really, really nice USB audio interface, and it supplies its own gain for each side. So I balance them, of course, because I want both inputs balanced. The problem with my mixer is it's not that it has USB. It doesn't have a very strong USB output for the record out. It doesn't even have a strong record out period, even on the mono side of things where you've got RCA jacks on the mixer. It's very weak output, so even with this full blast for the record out, I don't get very much of a heartbeat going into my programs through the USB port on the mixer into the computer. So I had to buy the Steinberg, and then what I did was I went through record outs or monitor outs. You can actually go through both. Now with the Steinberg box, you can actually go with just the record outs, and you will not need more than half of your level of record out. And then you set your Steinberg box up around 2 o'clock on the gains. That is more than enough and still leaves you lots of headroom in case you need to squeeze a little extra out. And then you can put all that into the Steinberg. Now the benefit here too is you go from 16-bit from the mixer into the Steinberg, which converts that 16-bit audio into 24-bit audio, okay, which is better than CD quality. So, and right now we can't even go beyond 24-bit for now. I don't think you can get much cleaner than that. But anyways, so that's how I've got it. I've got record outs, and I've also tried monitor outs. Works equally as well. Okay, you do get an extra 4 dB gain though out of your record outs, which means you won't have to run your Steinberg control box up so high for the gains. My gains are actually somewhere around 230, and but I could haul those back by just going monitor outs and just using my monitor channel, because my speakers, I'm using Yorkville YSM 8 speakers because this is a preamp board only, and my speakers are biamped amplified. So there's 2 amplifiers in each one for the bass and one for the tweeter area. So anyways, so I've got those going through my main speaker outs to my monitors, and then I still have my monitor channel free if I want to use it, and then of course my record outs is what I'm using from the mixer to the Steinberg box. Now the Steinberg box has a USB output to go into your computer, and that box is like 200 bucks Canadian, and it's worth every bloody penny. But then this way, you don't even need a looper pedal, okay? And you can just record everything straight in, do your mixing ahead of time either way. I would suggest using your headphones to listen to your mix, and headphones from the mixing board itself. Listen to your mix and make sure you got everything balanced for instruments and vocals, everything the way you want it. Then you're okay. Then whenever you're ready, cut it in one track. You don't have to even do multi-track recording anymore. Just do it all in one track if you want to, you know. So as long as you've played your song correctly, you don't have to worry about editing, because on one track you won't be able to edit independent items that way. So, but if you do multi-track record, which you can do multi-track even in GarageBand too, but other programs, then you could have separate instruments either way and no big deal. But either way, you got to make sure levels are correct and everything else, because you don't want to put in a weak signal and then try and having to boost that, or you know, because then what happens is you can distort it. So you want to make sure your levels are preset already, so that if anything, you would have to actually turn the levels down if you're doing independent tracks. Or like I said, headphones, set your levels right away, done, boom, record it one track, which is how I do things, all in one track. Saves me a lot of pains in the neck, okay? So, more than one way to hook up a looper pedal, if that's what you want to do. You don't actually need the looper pedal. The only thing I actually use my looper pedal now for is actually the rhythm machine when I want one of its rhythms. And I'm actually looking into the original Beat Buddy drummer. I've got a Beat Buddy Mini that I've rented for a month to try it out as well, just to see. But I think in the end I'm still going to go with the regular Beat Buddy. I may even get both, who knows, because there's some pretty cool things about this one too. But yeah, so that's how it works, guys. So if you have any other questions, feel free to ask, but don't ask me about your mixer in particular. I have no idea what your output levels are like on your mixer, because I don't have the experience on that one. You know, I have experience on mine, which is a Yamaha Mw12cx, and I did have a Yamaha Mw12cx mixer, so I'm well versed in that mixer. We also have a huge 32-channel mixer at our church, which is a new one that we got recently. And I know a fair amount about that one. It's also a Yamaha one, and you know, and it's a really nice mixer. I actually wish I had something that big, but it's only for the features, not for the amount of channels, because you know, I've got 12 channels now, and I could probably use maybe 3 or 4 more channels, you know, but that's just me, you know. But anyways, so hopefully that answered your question. If you have other questions, like I said, feel free to ask. I'll do the best I can to answer them. And we'll just continue from there. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one.